Hello and welcome to all. In today's session, we will see top 20 Atlassian Rovo prompts for QA tester with real example part 2. So in last session, part 1, we already saw the key features of Rovo, and today's session we will see actual top 20 Rovo prompts. Okay, how we will give it to Rovo so that it increases our productivity every day. So before we start, okay, so we'll just recap the what is Rovo. Okay, so now as mentioned, okay, so Atlassian Rovo is an enterprise AI knowledge assistant, and it's integrated with Jira and the Confluence. So it will helps the team to discover the information, automate the repetitive tasks, generate insights, and improve the productivity using natural language prompts. Okay. So now, if we see as a QA, so what we are facing the problem. Okay. So now, like as we discussed in last session, like we have too many Jira tickets. Okay. Then Row give the solution. Like we'll use the smart AI search. Okay, using Row. Then we, if in case we need to write the manual test case in Zephyr. Okay, with the help of AI, we'll generate the test cases. And we'll review it and we'll add it into the Zephyr. Then it may be chances like some requirements are not understandable or complicated or long requirement documents. Okay, then in that case we'll ask the insert summary using row. Okay, it will give the summary. Then also, like if in case we need to find out the like reporting efforts, sprint reporting efforts. Okay, then we'll use the row, we'll take the rows help, and using auto generated reports. Okay, we'll see all the sprint reports. Okay, if in case like a duplicate defects using like AI pattern, okay, row will identify the defects, and it will give the all the list. Okay, same way, like requirements understanding is having the issue, then using simple AI explanation, it will give the either summary or it will explain in simple way. Okay, so now today we'll see the how we'll give the prompt to row. Okay, in Jira. Okay, so before that, first we'll understand what is the QA pain point. Okay, now if you see, so I already identified like some of the QA points. Like we have too many Jira tickets. Okay, and if we find out something, okay, we are getting a lot of output. Okay, and going each and every ticket is very time consuming. Okay, then requirements are confusing or complicated. Okay, sometimes again manual test case writing, and we are writing a duplicate test cases. Okay, and if in case we need to give the sprint reports, okay, it's a long sprint reports, then it's a very time consuming activity. Okay, but as a part of row, okay, everything is happening within like minutes. So but we need to give a correct prompt. So how we'll give correct prompt as a QA? Okay, so we'll start with the requirement analysis. Okay, suppose you are working on one of the ticket or one of the story or one of the epic. Okay, so if you don't understand the requirements, okay, or requirements is a complicated. Okay, then simply we'll give the prompt to row, like summarize this requirement in a simple QA language. So row will give the output in a simple QA language. Okay, then maybe like we'll ask, like we need to list all the functional testing scenarios for this feature. Okay, so we'll also get the feature list. Okay, then we'll go through or we'll review that list. We'll identify some of the scenarios and we'll confirm with the product. Okay, then row will identify the missing acceptance criteria. Okay, if in case product forgot to add the acceptance criteria, with the help of row, okay, we'll identify or we'll ask the product to add the missing acceptance criteria. Okay, it will also helpful to business impact of this Jira story. What will be the impact of this story? Okay, so now like these are all the row prompts I already identified as a requirement analysis. Now next is a test case creation. Okay, now suppose if you start working on the one of the story as part of it, one of the epics. Okay, so for I have considered the login feature, and I want to write a design a test cases for the login functionality. So I will simply give the row prompts, generate positive and negative test cases for login functionality. consider the your test case or story ID. Okay, then definitely Rovo will give the output. Then same way, if you want to find out the create boundary value test cases, okay, then we'll give the simply this prompt to Rovo, create boundary value test cases. Then Rovo will get the output for the boundary value test cases. Okay. And the same way, if in case you want to work on the API test scenarios for any particular service, okay, we'll give the same prompt, generate API test scenarios for payment service. Okay, it will give the prompt, okay, output in row. Okay, row will also helpful to create a regression test checklist. Okay, so this way we'll utilize the row in test case creation. Okay, we'll also use the row in bug management. Okay, like suppose if you want to analyze the duplicate defects related to any particular modules. Okay, so with the help of this prompt, we'll analyze the duplicate defects. Then we'll also summarize the critical bugs for current sprint. Okay, so using row, it will give the critical bugs list in current sprint. Okay, if in case we are facing some problem while for defect description, okay, we'll just simply mention to row create professional defect description for this issue. It will create it, and then you can update the ticket. Okay, if in case we need to identify some root cause of any ticket or defect history, okay, we'll give the identify possible root cause based on the defect history. Okay, it will give the solution. Okay. Then next, if you want to use the row in sprint activity, then we'll simply say give the prompt like prepare daily QA status report. It will give the QA status report. That's sprint activity. Okay. And if in case you want to summarize block test cases, okay, there is a lot of test cases are there and you're not able to understand, you have less time, definitely we'll give the prompt like summarize block test cases. Okay, it will give the output. Then generate sprint testing summary. Okay, it will give the testing summary. Okay, then if in case you want to find out the high priority defects, okay, instead of like writing a query, okay, we'll simply ask the row list all unresolved high priority defects. It will give the all high priority defects list. Okay. So if in case like test cases, you are working on the manual test cases and you want to automate either in Selenium or the Playwright, okay, so we'll just simply say generate test Selenium test script for the login page, okay, or create a Playwright automation scenarios. Okay, so if you give the prompt like suggest automation candidates for the regression suites, okay, and if you give the suite name, okay, it will identify all the test cases, what are the test cases we can automate it, okay, and it will give the list. And next, like if you want to summarize any meeting notes and the exact QA action items, we can also ask the row. Okay, but remember, whatever the row is giving the output, we need to reconfirm that things, and after that, we need to implement it. Okay, so these all are the top 20 Atlassian Rovo prompts. Okay, for QA tester. Okay, it's a really helpful and it saves a lot of times. Okay, so remember one thing, Rovo will not replace the QA engineers, but QA engineers using AI tools like Rovo will outperform traditional manual workflows. Okay, and the future of QA engineer is not just someone who tests the software manually. Okay, the future belongs to QA professionals who combine testing knowledge with AI productivity tools like Rovo. So we need to work with the Rovo. We need to adopt the Rovo. Okay, and from Rovo we need to increases our productivity every day. Okay, and this is the like top 20 Atlassian Rovo prompts which every QA should know. Okay, if in case you have any questions, queries, please let me know. Thank you.